Some cars are arriving at British garages today, and mechanics are legally charging over £120 an hour to simply press a hidden button in the glove box. Dealerships are banking on the fact that modern vehicles feel too complex to touch. They are quietly making thousands of pounds off MOT failures, unnecessary diagnostic fees, and phantom wear and tear parts, simply because 94% of drivers don't know the manufacturer's own hidden workarounds. Let's go from the minor forecourt ripoffs to the ones that can genuinely save you from a catastrophic repair bill. Number 17. The Tire Pressure Monitoring System. This one surprised me purely because of how many people fall for it. You pull up to a petrol station, you inflate your tires to the correct pressure listed on your door jamb sticker, but the tire pressure warning light on your dashboard stays on for the entire drive home. You panic, thinking you have a slow puncture or that something is fundamentally broken. With the MOT coming up, a dashboard warning light is an instant failure, so you book it into the main dealer. Here is what most drivers never learn. Modern vehicles have a small reset button for the tire pressure monitoring system, usually located under the steering column on the dashboard or hidden inside the glove box. The button is typically labeled TPMS set or has a little tire icon with an exclamation mark. After inflating your tires to the correct pressure, sit in the driver's seat with the engine on and press and hold that button for 3 to 5 seconds until the light on the dashboard blinks and then turns off. This tells the car's computer to recalibrate to your new tire pressure as the baseline. Industry data shows garages routinely charge £60 to £120 in diagnostic scan fees to perform this exact recalibration as a shop service. You seriously can't make this stuff up. They are charging premium labor rates to reach into your glove box and hold a button for 5 seconds. Once you know where it is, you'll never pay a shop for this again. But while that costs you diagnostic fees, the next trick stops you wasting money on overpriced car care snake oil. Number 16. Restoring faded black plastic trim. The strange thing about modern car design is how much unpainted plastic they use. Your black exterior trim, the bumpers, the mirror housings, the door pillars, eventually looks faded, chalky gray, and permanently dull thanks to British weather and road salt. You've probably tried expensive plastic restorers from places like Halford's, and you've noticed they either wear off in the first proper downpour or leave an oily film that attracts dust. Here's what works better and lasts longer. Standard silicone spray from any hardware shop like Screwfix or Toolstation restores faded black plastic exterior trim to its deep factory color in under 60 seconds per piece. Spray a light coat onto a clean microfiber cloth, never directly onto the plastic, and wipe firmly across the faded trim in overlapping strokes. The color transformation is instant. The silicone penetrates the polymer structure of the trim and restores the flexibility and depth that UV exposure stripped out. Commercial plastic trim restoration products cost £15 to £30 a bottle and use the exact same active polymer chemistry. A can of basic silicone spray costs about £3. Let that sink in. You are paying a massive markup for a fancy label. This holds for weeks, and it's the easiest way to beat the overpriced detailing industry at their own game. Speaking of cheap fixes, the next one uses something you were literally about to throw in the recycling bin. Number 15. The Emergency Ring Pull Phone Mount. You're driving a rental car, or perhaps you just bought a new motor, and you need to prop up your phone for sat-nav on the M1, but you don't have a proper dashboard mount. Sliding the phone under the sun visor, taping it to the dash, or wedging it in the cup holder always fails at dual carriageway speeds. Government data confirms that UK penalties for holding a phone while driving are now a £200 fine and 6 points on your license. Getting caught twice means losing your license entirely. Here's the fix that lives in every soft drink can. The ring pull on any aluminium drink can, once torn off and slightly bent, creates a perfectly angled phone stand that grips onto any dashboard vent slat. Pop open a drink, snap off the pull tab, and bend the ring portion at a 90-degree angle to the flat tongue portion. Wedge the flat tongue between the horizontal slats of a dashboard air vent. The ring hangs down and forms a cradle for your phone. Rest your phone in the cradle with the screen facing you. The angle is naturally right for viewing from the driver's seat, and the aluminium grips the vent firmly enough to hold through normal driving. For heavier phones, just use 2 pull tabs side by side. It sounds ridiculous, but it genuinely works. It costs absolutely nothing, and it can save you from a massive fine and skyrocketing insurance premiums. But what about the problem you can't see, only smell? Number 14. Eliminating ingrained cigarette odors. On paper, buying a second-hand car from a smoke smoker should be a great deal because the price is heavily discounted, but the cabin holds a lingering damp tobacco smell. And honestly, this is the part that frustrates buyers most. It always returns the moment the dealer's cheap forecourt air freshener wears off. Professional detailers charge upwards of £200 for ozone machine treatments to strip these smells from the upholstery. Here's the household ingredient that neutralizes smoke odor at the source. Dry coffee grounds, either fresh or used and completely dried out, packed loosely into an open container and placed under the seat, will absorb cigarette smoke residue continuously over weeks. The cellulose structure of coffee grounds is naturally absorbent at the molecular level. The dry grounds pull ammonia, tar compounds, and other smoke molecules out of the surrounding air, trapping them in the porous grain matter. Fill an old jam jar with dry coffee grounds, slide it under the driver's seat, and leave it for a few weeks. The chemistry is nearly identical to industrial odor removal products used in fire damage restoration. It erases the lingering presence of the previous owner without the massive detailing bill. While we're on the subject of interior detailing, this next one solves the most dangerous visibility issue on wet, dark country roads. Number 13. The interior windscreen hazard. You clean the inside of your windscreen with commercial glass cleaner, but 20 minutes later, when the sunlight hits at the right angle, you see a hazy film and greasy streaks that weren't visible before. On a dark, wet British B-road, the glare from oncoming headlights hitting that film is genuinely terrifying. The problem is the store-bought cleaners. They leave a residue that becomes visible only in specific light conditions. Here's what works better. Plain 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol from any local pharmacy, sprayed lightly onto the interior windscreen surface and wiped with a clean microfiber cloth, produces a streak-free finish that beats every commercial glass cleaner on the market. Modern dashboards are made of plastics that off-gas, creating a chemical film that coats the interior glass over time. The alcohol dissolves this plasticizer film and evaporates completely without leaving any residue behind, which is the exact problem with ammonia-based commercial glass cleaners. Spray a light mist onto a clean cloth, never directly onto the glass, and wipe firmly in straight strokes. Buff dry with a second cloth. The interior glass comes out truly clear, and night driving glare disappears. Professional interior valets charge £40 to £80 to achieve this exact result, but a 3-pound bottle of rubbing alcohol does it better. And if you thought that was a lifesaver, wait until you hear how a pair of tights can save your engine. Number 12. The emergency engine saver. Imagine you're on a long road trip, miles from the nearest town, and your air filter is completely clogged. Or worse, a mouse has nested in the airbox and the filter has shredded. Continuing to drive without an air filter allows unfiltered debris directly into your engine. That grit will immediately score the cylinder walls and destroy the mass airflow sensor. You are looking at a 3,000-pound engine rebuild and a 150-pound recovery tow. Here's the emergency fix that has saved countless engines. A single leg of a pair of tights or stockings stretched across the intake opening of your air filter housing filters out coarse debris and allows sufficient airflow for the engine to run safely until you reach a proper replacement filter. Cut one leg from the tights, stretch it over the opening where the filter normally sits, and secure it with a rubber band or some tape. The fabric is fine enough to catch the larger particles that cause catastrophic damage, but porous enough to keep the engine breathing. Now, you'd think this would suffocate the engine, but it doesn't. It's an emergency fix designed purely to get you the next 50 miles safely to a motor factor's. Engine save. But what about the dust that instantly returns to your dashboard no matter how much you clean? Number 11. The detailer's static secret. Your dashboard, door panels, and interior plastics collect a layer of dust so consistently that no matter how carefully you wipe them with a cloth, the dust settles straight back within 24 hours. The problem is that most microfiber cleaning cloths generate static electricity as they wipe across the plastic, and that static charge then actively attracts dust back onto the surface. Here's what breaks the cycle. Standard paper coffee filters, the kind used in drip coffee makers, dust the dashboard without adding any static charge. The paper fiber is completely anti-static. Take a fresh coffee filter, wipe across the dashboard and interior trim using firm strokes, and discard the filter when it's dirty. The dust transfers onto the paper, and the plastic surface is left neutral rather than statically charged. Dust that would normally return the very next day now takes over a week to reappear. You can stop buying expensive anti-static interior sprays from the forecourt because a 3-pound pack of coffee filters from the supermarket treats your interior exterior for months. That keeps the interior clean, but the next trick transforms how you track your garage's honesty. Number 10. The hidden maintenance auditor. Your dashboard has 2 trip meters, and you probably only use one of them. Trip A tracks your miles since your last fill-up. Trip B is available for anything else you want to track, and it is the most underutilized feature on any modern dashboard. Relying on faded garage stickers or complex infotainment menus to know when your oil or timing chain service is actually due is a recipe for disaster. Stretching oil intervals by just 2,000 miles is the leading cause of premature turbo and timing chain failure in modern diesels. Thousands of pounds in engine repairs stem from accidentally stretched service intervals. Use Trip B to track miles between specific maintenance intervals. Reset it after every oil change to know exactly when you're due for the next one. Reset it after a repair to easily monitor if a recurring problem returns within a specific mileage. Hold the button for 3 to 5 seconds to reset it. Taking absolute control of your maintenance schedule back from the dealer eliminates the guessing game. That's not a typo in your owner's manual. Your dashboard has a dedicated maintenance auditor built in for free. This is where we move from minor annoyances to the things that fundamentally change how you drive. Speaking of taking control, your car's cruise control has a secret memory bank almost nobody uses. Number 9. The motorway memory bank. You set your cruise control at 70 on the M4. You have to disengage briefly because a lorry pulls into your lane. You pass them and want to return to your cruising speed. Most drivers press the set button again and painstakingly accelerate manually back to their target. Here's what almost nobody uses. Every modern cruise control system has a resume button that automatically returns to the last speed you set, even if you disengaged half an hour ago. Look at your steering wheel button. There is a button labeled RES, or with an arrow pointing forward. After disengaging cruise by tapping the brake, simply press resume. The vehicle automatically accelerates back to your last set speed and maintains it. Manual speed adjustment takes 15 to 30 seconds of attention per event, dramatically increasing driver fatigue over a long journey. And honestly, fatigue directly correlates to accidents and insurance claims. The feature stores your last set speed in memory even after you turn off the engine in most vehicles. It's a brilliant feature you've paid for, but probably ignored for years. That makes the motorway effortless. But what happens when you finally get home in the pitch dark? Number 8. The 100-pound driveway fix. You pull into your driveway on a dark, wet Tuesday evening. You turn off the engine, grab your bags, and step out of the car in complete darkness, immediately putting your foot straight into a massive puddle. You do this because you turned off the headlights the moment you turned off the ignition. Here is a factory feature that 90% of British drivers never activate, despite already paying for it. Almost every modern vehicle built after 2010 includes an automatic headlight timer that keeps the lights on for 30 to 90 seconds after you lock the doors. The headlights illuminate the walk to your front door before safely shutting off to preserve the battery. The strange thing is, this setting is typically disabled by default. Look in your infotainment settings under exterior lighting or automatic lighting. The setting is usually labeled Follow Me Home Lighting or Headlight Delay. You can typically choose the duration depending on your walk distance to the front door. Once enabled, the feature works automatically every time you park at night. Homeowners spend upwards of £100 installing motion-activated security lights above their garages to solve this exact problem, but your car will do the same job for free with 60 seconds of settings adjustment. It is a wonderful feeling when the car actively looks after you once the drive is over. The car handles the lighting, but keeping the cabin fresh requires a trip to the laundry cupboard. Number 7. The permanent air freshener. We've all bought those cardboard air fresheners that hang from the rear view mirror. You buy a new second-hand car, the cabin smells a bit stale after being closed up all day in the sun, so you buy one from the petrol station forecourt. It smells incredibly chemical for about 3 days, and then the scent vanishes completely, leaving a tacky piece of cardboard swinging in your line of sight. Here's the trick that keeps the cabin smelling fresh for weeks at a fraction of the cost. A folded tumble dryer sheet tucked under each front seat releases a subtle fragrance every time air moves through the cabin. Fold a dryer sheet in half and slide it into the shallow space beneath the seat tracks. The airflow from your heater and the normal cabin movement passes over the sheets throughout every drive, distributing a light, natural fragrance evenly. A box of dryer sheets from the supermarket costs about £5 and uses the exact same slow-release chemistry as premium car fresheners. Commercial car air fresheners cost £5 to £10 each and last a matter of weeks. Over a year, you are saving 50 to 100 pounds on useless forecourt accessories while maintaining a consistently premium-feeling cabin. Smells are one thing, but the noise of winter is what drives most owners mad. Number 6. The 600-pound frost prevention. On paper, a modern car should be perfectly sealed against the elements, but on a frosty January morning in Britain, you pull the door handle and hear that terrifying, tearing sound of a frozen rubber door seal ripping away from the painted metal. And honestly, this is the part that hurts. Main dealers routinely charge 200 pounds to 600 pounds per door to replace aged, torn weather stripping. Here's the treatment that prevents all of this and preserves the seals for decades. A thin layer of petroleum jelly applied to the rubber door seals every 3 to 4 months preserves the rubber's flexibility and entirely prevents freezing to painted surfaces. Wipe the rubber seals clean with a damp cloth, then apply a very thin coat of petroleum jelly to a microfiber cloth. Wipe firmly along the entire length of every rubber weather strip on your doors and the boot. The jelly penetrates the rubber and replaces the natural oils that leach out over years of UV exposure. The freezing problem in winter disappears entirely because water simply cannot bond to a petroleum-coated surface. Commercial rubber conditioners at motor factors cost 15 pounds a bottle for exactly the same active protection. That is a massive bill avoided for the sake of a 50p smear of Vaseline. While that protects the car, the next habit protects your life on the motorway. This is where the financial damage and the physical danger become enormous. Number 5. The 5-second survival rule. You want to change lanes on the M6. You flick your indicator on and immediately begin steering into the adjacent lane. It's the classic indicate and swerve simultaneously maneuver, and it is one of the most common causes of high-speed dual carriageway collisions between drivers who never see each other coming. Here is the technique mandated for every commercial HGV driver in the country. The indicator is a communication tool, not just a legal formality. It must be activated at least 5 full seconds before you begin any lane change. This interval gives surrounding drivers time to see your signal, register your intent, and react by either giving you space or flashing you to acknowledge your position. Most car drivers signal for 1 second before turning, which provides essentially zero warning to surrounding traffic. Insurance data shows that premiums jump 10 to 20% after an at-fault lane change collision, costing thousands in elevated rates and excess fees. We get intensely angry when other drivers cut us off without warning, but the truth is, most of us do it too. Practice counting 5 full seconds after clicking the stalk before you move the steering wheel. The pause feels completely unnatural at first, but it genuinely saves lives. Safety first, but safety relies entirely on being able to see out of the windscreen. Number 4. The Devisa wiper scam. You take your car in for its annual MOT, and the mechanic calls you that afternoon with bad news. It's failed on visibility. Your wiper blades are streaking, and they need replacing before they can issue the certificate. You begrudgingly agree to let them fit a new set of premium Bosch blades at their massively inflated forecourt markup. Here is what extends blade life dramatically, and what the wear and tear parts industry relies on you never finding out. Wipers are consistently a leading cause of MOT failures according to Devesa data, but most of the time, the rubber blade itself is absolutely fine. The problem is the layer of dust, oil, and airborne contamination that builds up on the wiping edge over months of motorway driving. A dry piece of kitchen roll or a microfiber cloth wiped firmly along the rubber edge of each blade once a week removes this accumulated road film without any chemical treatment. Lift the wiper arm off the windscreen, pinch the rubber edge between your thumb and the towel, and wipe along the entire length in one direction. The towel picks up the accumulated grime, and you'll see just how black it becomes. Repeat with a fresh section of towel until the wipe comes back clean. Blades that most drivers replace every 8 months easily last 18 to 24 months with weekly cleaning, saving 40 pounds to 60 pounds every year and avoiding the MOT retest hassle entirely is brilliant. Visibility is sorted. Now let's stop the arguments in the passenger seat. Number 3. The marriage saver. You run the air conditioning because you're too hot. Your passenger is freezing and puts a heavy coat on. You compromise and lower the fan. Now you're both miserable. Most modern vehicles solve this endless battle with a feature you probably didn't even know was there. The HVAC sync button, usually labeled sync or dual on the climate control panel, unlocks separate temperature controls for the driver and passenger sides of the cabin. Dual zone climate control is standard equipment on almost every every vehicle built after 2010 with automatic heating. When sync is disabled, the driver can run at a brisk 18 degrees, while the passenger sits in a balmy 22 degrees, and each side gets air at their preferred temperature from their respective vents. The feature is right there in the center of the dashboard. Press it once to disable syncing, then adjust each side to preference. The intense frustration of uneven heating and cooling vanishes instantly. People spend upwards of £1,000 on aftermarket heating retrofits on older vans and motorhomes to achieve what your car already does for free. Peace in the cabin is great, but peace of mind comes from eliminating your blind spots entirely. Nothing else on this list comes close to these last two. Number 2. The 1995 SAE Mirror Revelation. You check your side mirrors before changing lanes on the M6, and you can still see the side of your own vehicle. This means your mirrors are aimed far too far inward. You have massive, terrifying blind spots on both sides that a properly aimed mirror would completely eliminate. The Society of Automotive Engineers published a definitive paper back in 1995 documenting the correct side mirror positioning that essentially eliminates blind spots on modern vehicles. For the driver's side mirror, sit in your normal driving position. Lean your head against the driver window glass. Then adjust the mirror until you can just barely see the side of your own vehicle at the inner edge of the glass. For the passenger side mirror, lean your head towards the center console of the vehicle. Then adjust until you can just barely see the side of your vehicle at the inner edge of that mirror. When a vehicle passes you now, you'll see it transition from your rear view mirror directly into your side mirror without ever disappearing into a blind spot. Most drivers never adjust their mirrors this way because it looks wrong at first. The mirrors don't show your own car, so you feel disoriented. It means unlearning a 30-year-old bad habit, but give it a week of driving, overcoming the anxiety of the motorway blind spot and preventing a catastrophic sideswipe collision is worth it. But even with perfect mirrors, you are still at risk if you ignore this final routine that ties everything together. Number 1. The 60-second professional setup. You get into your car in the morning, sit down, put it in gear, and just start driving without any conscious setup. Most drivers do this without realizing that 60 seconds of intentional preparation at the start of each drive prevents most of the physical discomfort and safety issues that accumulate across a journey. Here is the complete morning routine that professional drivers use. Sit in the driver's seat and close the door. Adjust your seat height so your hips are level with your knees, not above or below. This prevents severe lower back strain on long drives and saves you a fortune in physiotherapy bills down the line. Slide the seat forward or back so your right foot can fully depress the brake pedal with a slight bend in your knee. A fully straight leg during an emergency stop shatters the knee joint on impact. Adjust the steering wheel telescope and tilt so your arms have a slight bend at the elbow when your hands are at the 9 and 3 position, and ensure the top of the wheel is aligned with the middle of the instrument cluster. Set your preferred cabin temperature. Turn on the automatic headlight delay. Verify the tire pressure monitoring system isn't showing any warning. Buckle your seatbelt. After a week, this becomes entirely automatic and takes 20 seconds. This is what separates a casual passenger behind the wheel from a driver who is a master of the machine. What every one of these 17 tricks has in common is that they take power away from the dealership and put it firmly back in your hands. In an era of £120 an hour garage labor rates and brutally strict MOT standards, automotive ignorance is simply too expensive for British drivers to afford. You don't need to try and memorize all 17 today. Pick just one. Go out and clean your wiper blades this afternoon. Or finally locate that hidden tire pressure button in your glove box. Which of these 17 tricks shocked you the most? And have you ever failed an MOT for something you later realized you could have fixed yourself in 5 seconds? Let me know down in the comments. If you found this useful and want to protect your wallet from the motor trade, subscribe for more UK-focused automotive breakdowns and buying guides.